Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Season 5, Episode 12, The Begotten. You know, to be honest, so I think this was the first episode of Deep Space Nine that I ever saw. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was. Like, back, probably when it first aired. So, this episode is about Quark comes to Odo, and he has a changeling, and I don't know how he could tell it was a changeling, because it's blue. And he's like, here, do you want it? And it's dead, but you can have it. And he tries to sell it to Odo, and Odo's like, it's not dead, it's sick. And it's a baby changeling. And it's kind of funny because they have like those human moments where Dr. Bashir was like, Captain Sisko was like, were you this small? Which is something you always talk about when you talk to kids. Like, oh, you were so tiny and cute. So the main plot of this episode is about, there's my puppy Lowbelly right there. So the main plot of this episode is Odo trying to be a father to this baby changeling. And Dr. Mora shows up. I believe this is his second appearance in the show. And he's basically, Odo is like, has a lot of resentment towards Dr. Mora, because he's like, you poked me and prodded me and electrocuted me and you did everything and it was torture and I hate you and that's why I left. And Dr. Mora, who looks at himself as a father, just feels attacked and betrayed. And he's watching Odo try to basically do the opposite. And he's like, here, this is a sphere, this is a cube, and it's not doing anything. This baby changeling's not growing, it's not holding shape, it's not doing anything. And Dr. Mora's like, you need to give it like structure. Like, yes, I was hard on you, because at one point they make like a grid and they electrify the grid except for a square. So if this changeling doesn't want to get electrocuted, it has to go to that square and hold the shape. And Dr. Moore's like, that's what you need to do. You need to give it structure so it knows. Like, you're not going to hurt it. You're not like punishing it. You're just giving it a little discomfort until it starts listening to you. And so we see Odo and Dr. Mora finally start to heal the relationship after years. I don't know exactly how old Odo is. I think he's like 20 or something. But it's kind of interesting to watch Dr. Mora like help it, and then Odo like finally starts to get it to change. At one point it even kind of makes a face. And then that's where this episode really takes a dark twist, where the baby ends up getting sick again and pretty much dies. But before it dies, Odo like grabs it to hold it, to say, it's okay, I'm still with you. And Odo absorbs it into his cells, turns into a bird and flies through the station, which that's the scene that I clearly remember as a little kid watching, is the bird flying. And now Odo has his changing abilities back. So, I don't know, it's a really interesting episode to kind of watch Odo get his abilities back. You could tell from the beginning that it was never going to be he was a solid from now on. He was always going to become a changeling again, but it lasted significantly longer than I thought. I mean, we're 12 episodes into the season, and now he's getting it back. If this was the Next Generation or anything like that, it would have been the next episode. But like Deep Space Nine, it's very good with these story arcs. So I really liked that. The subplot for this episode is pretty much just as engaging. It's almost a sequel to the Next Generation episode Disaster, where Molly was born, because in this one we see Kira finally go into labor, which is kind of funny because Nana had given birth to her son like much earlier than this, and she's basically been fake pregnant up until now. And Chief O'Brien is like, I wasn't there for Molly, I want to be there for this one, which is a reference to Disaster. And it's just kind of interesting to watch like the Bajoran rituals and stuff like that. And finally she does give birth to Keiko and Miles' second child. I don't remember if they name him or not. I'm sorry, I apologize. What's really sad though is this is basically one of the last times we see Keiko. So we're halfway through season 5. We still have 2.5 seasons left for the series. We only see Keiko 2 more times. Keiko's definitely one of my favorite characters. I think she's an underrated character, but it's really sad that we don't really see her much more. So for those who have seen this one, what do you think about O'Brien's second child being born? What did you think about the relationship between Odo and Dr. Mora? What do you think about the baby changeling? Just what do you guys think overall? So thank you guys for following, subscribing, all of that. I will see you guys next time for the Uniform.